Hi everyone and welcome to the What the Fuck show again. With me as always I have the lovely Kitty, Goddess of Sewing.
Hi.
Yeah, the absolutely amazing Godless Sewing William.
How's it going? Hey, just remember, hold on one second. I have to say this. Just remember, when they go low, we get high.
I mean, I told you the poem that was written on the girls' bathroom wall back in middle school yesterday, and you loved it. So, and I still remember that 20 plus years later.
Exactly.
Nothing wrong with getting high.
How's it going, Brandon?
Hi, Brandon. With us, obviously. So far this week, our guests include Brandon.
Yeah, I've been here a couple of times.
You have.
Yes.
So, we're talking about the deification of people or what? Or grifters?
No, we're talking about grifters. We've done deification before. This time we're talking about, in general, people who are grifters. And I mean, we see a lot of it on YouTube. People who just do and say the things that they're doing just for the grift they can get from it, just so they can sell their merch, or just so they can get those few extra subscribers or those few extra patrons. Talking which, support me on my Patreon. We're talking about grift, we might as well grift. Oh yeah, and go and do Kitty's GoFundMe for her sewing machine, because that's also grift. But there's grift and there's grift. There's grift like a little bit of support where you can, and I'm not big on selling it because I don't care. I'd still be doing this regardless. And then there's the grift where you're all about the grift, where YouTube has become your job to the point that you actually only care about what you can make out of it. Or to go away from YouTube, you've got people who preach only to make money. I mean, most churches are only about making money in a certain sense, but you've got the prosperity gospelers who are just all about the grift, all about buy my book.
If you think about it, the internet and prosperity gospel were meant for each other. Back in the day, back in the radio days, it was put your hand on the receiver if you're a believer. Now it's someone face to face, grifting people saying, "Oh, you're healed of this or that." Nothing's changed.
Or selling fucking miracle water to cure COVID, and other bullshit like that.
If I hear MLM, I'm out of here.
I see we have Jade there in the chat, and I'm pretty sure, being somebody who comes from a very Pentecostal thing, that she probably has a few things to say about prosperity gospel. So if you're available, Jade, we'd love to have you come in and say something about that.
I think also, though, people get caught up in mass movements, and it's easy to want to give money to your heroes, or someone that you feel that their cause is worth your time and your money. So if that person's bullshit, it's sad. So I think there has to be a vetting process of, like, is this person sincere? Like, and let's put it on a small scale. Like, when someone does a GoFundMe, I'm not trying to call you out, Jen, but you did a GoFundMe, and you're sitting in the house in which
I am. And literally, if I turn this green screen off, you can see one of my walls. In fact, if I swap to the other camera, you can see the crappy wall on this side that needs repairing, that Will and Kitty have both seen.
But that's my whole point. I'm an extremely skeptical person, so I need proof sometimes, and sometimes in all communities you don't get it. So that's why I have absolutely no faith in general. But most GoFundMes, I'm like,
If anybody's wondering in the chat, the chats that I pop up, only you guys know that I pop them up, and these guys don't, because I haven't set that bit up yet, because it's a little bit different to how StreamYards works because of OBS and stuff like that. But I did pop up that Jinju said Miracle Water. That was Peter Pop.
And Kevin Sorbo.
And Kevin Sorbo, which Dog brought up with Kevin Sorbo has reduced his celeb speaking card by $20. I mean, this is all grift. I mean, I know technically Kevin Sorbo is a celebrity, and but he's such a dick. He's an incredibly big dick. He doesn't have an incredibly big dick. He just is an incredibly big dick.
I kind of want to give I want to give a little disclaimer. I'm a bit harsh and jaded, so do not take any medical advice from sewing. My opinion is my own, you know.
Actually, I wouldn't. Don't take any advice from sewing.
So I'm just saying, I think there's a lot of grifting going on. So just keep your eyes open. That's all I'm saying, you know. But I'm more established, so I think, you know, lots of people are grifters.
I'd like to point out, we see it within our own community, even within the atheist community. There are people within our community, and I will not mention names, but I'm sure other people would, who I definitely perceive as just being grifters. They're not there. They might have started out there to educate and to talk and have good discussions and things like that. But now everything's about buy my merch, about whatever the next thing I can attach myself to, whether it be a trans issue or a some other weird ass obscure thing that's happened, which has nothing to do with them personally, but they're going to attach themselves to it just so they can sell a new T-shirt that says whoever's rights or you know, God isn't a rock, or I don't know what they put on their merch. I don't follow them. But my point being,
where's that line? Where's that line between somebody having a cause, buying their own BS, and somebody who actually is cause-worthy, who actually is standing for something? You know?
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm not even saying this to be guilt-ridden, but like, if you feel like donating, go to your downtown area. Go, you know, to an organization that's trying to help people locally. I've always said that since the day I've come into the community. Yeah, exactly. Because there's people right down the street from you that need help.
Yeah, I mean, I hear it from people all the time who do online activism. And yes, I think we need a level of online activism where you're going to educate people and tell people, but your audience here is limited. If you, I mean, I know some people don't necessarily agree with her, but a lot of people do like her. I'll talk about Katie Montgomery. Katie Montgomery, I would not label her as a grifter. Katie Montgomery could monetize her YouTube channel and has chosen not to. She doesn't sell merch. She doesn't grift at all. And not only does she do her activism online, she goes out to the media and she's had herself interviewed. She will go to protests and things like that. She's not a grifter in any way, shape, or form. She is exactly genuinely who she says she is. And I admire that immensely of her. But if you look at some other people that we know within the community who apparently do things like this, they sit behind their desk in their lovely little office that they've paid for from your money, from your donations, which is fine because I have a Patreon and I realize I'm being a fucking hypocrite. But I'm not intending on making this my career. I have a fucking life. So look, we've got Stoll. This should be interesting. Hi, Stoll. So if we're looking at this from that perspective, at a certain point, if you are prepared to jump onto any issue because it's going to get you views, because it's going to get you more subscribers, because hopefully you'll sell another fucking t-shirt or a mug or whatever else it is that you're pushing down the throats of your young and impressionable viewers, at what point are you a fucking sellout?
And you know, you actually hit something that's kind of come close to home. Recently, my son is being radicalized by YouTube. And I think that there is a lot of people out there that are grooming children. I think when we're talking about grifters, in America, our gun culture is literally trying to recruit children like, hey, be like me. Look at my cool shirt. Look at my tactical gear. Look at this gun. Look at this. I'll teach you how to, you know. So it's a little bit deeper than just us having beef with people in the community, you know. I think there's people that are like, just as much as I would say that about religious propaganda, there's people that are literally trying to radicalize our kids. And it's the same in Plague Island over there. with that weird song that reminded me of 1942 Germany. How you doing, Stool?
Hey,
Hey,
how you
Stool.
doing?
I'm doing great.
Now, I mean, I will push back just a little bit because I don't see an issue with someone making YouTube their career
I
and
don't either.
selling merch and making money, being monetized and everything like that. No problem with that. My issue is more with people that I see as grifters are more the ones that kind of prey on like the whole outrage thing and like that mob mentality, getting people like hyped up and angry so that they donate money to them for honestly like things that I consider kind of dumb. And I can think of a few examples, but they're so specific to certain individuals, and I do not want to get that hate mob and culty group like coming at me. I don't got time for that. So
The only reason I'm here, and I did actually find my sellotape just for you, Jen, because
Oh, thank you.
I had to hunt for it, because without my sellotape, my big thing falls off.
I love you still.
that's what you said.
So he's Sapphire and I'm Steel, by the way.
This is true.
Oh,
but
thank you, dog. Stool is a massive bell end that everybody loves.
Dog, I sent you a link.
I sent Dog a
Hashtag.
link to you.
But I think there's a serious problem of grifting going on, and we could, so we do not start fights. We could take it out of our community. And
There is an absolute huge grifting culture going on.
There is.
And the thing is, in America land, that's been the case for a very long time. But it's kind of a new thing over here in normal land.
Yeah.
And we are getting utterly bombarded with grifters, including our own fucking government. I mean, they are grifters. They're just money, give, outrage, give. And it winds me up immensely. It really does. I hate it. And if you want to hear my professional opinion, I love it when I say that, because it makes Will laugh. Because he knows I'm a pro.
Yeah, you make money behind the shed.
We're all pros here. We're all pros here.
2015 is when, I think, in my humble opinion, is when the online grifter really took off. And it took off big style over here in normal land with certain online personalities, shall we say, the YouTube people. And they made a shit ton of money out of it, more money than you can dream of, just by, as Kitty alluded to, get on the latest bandwagon. What's going to outrage the people? Ka-ching, the money comes in.
Give us the money.
And that's what it's all about these days. I'm not going to say. I'm going to say it now, obviously, but I'm not going to say it after this. Outrage culture, cancel wars, all that shit. They are not real things. They're really not.
At all.
They're just not real. But these are the tools. These are the tools of the grifter.
I literally say this to anyone that's ranting and screaming about something they saw on online or anything.
You got okay there, dog. I'll just mute you for a second whilst you figure that out.
Sorry, I get creeped out by the sound of my own voice. Kudos to all of you for putting up with it, though. So my whole point is, how can you stop the grift? Like Junie,
I don't know that you have to stop the grift per se. I mean, in some respects, I agree with Kitty as well. In that, I don't necessarily see a problem with people making a living out of this. What I object to is people jumping on bandwagons to fuel their grift. So, like, if you're going to...
shit.
What's that, Brandon?
It's starting shit, so you can't do that.
Yeah, I mean, look at somebody like oh God, what's his name? The little creepy-eyed dude whose sister looks like him.
Oh, Ben Shapiro.
Yeah, Ben Shapiro. Now, look, honestly, Ben Shapiro is nothing but grift. That is all
Exactly.
he is.
And
the thing-
Charlie Kirk and
The thing I would say to
Steven
that
Crowder.
about, yeah, they're grifters. And the thing I would say about Shapiro, or any grifters, I mean, he is such a blatant grifter. And
So
I don't understand how people don't see that. And that there are other human beings, such as you and I, who think he's telling the truth.
And
mean,
I will say this till I'm blue in the face. Why do they move to California? Ben Shapiro's different because he's from here. But why do these people move to one of the most lefty states in America? Because they don't want to live in the places that they're trying to build.
I think
That's the thing about Ben Shapiro and all of these people that pisses me off. If they were stood by their convictions, they wouldn't be living in lefty land. They would be living in Podunk, Tennessee, or in the desert of Nevada somewhere.
But
this is one
But
of my
Shapiro made
triggering
it-
issues, I've got to say, because I literally cannot stand grifters. And I take on board what Australia Jen says, because she's one of those dirty conservatives and she thinks that everybody should be able to make money. Just joking.
I'm not a conservative at all.
But I think I'm being deadly serious here. I hate grifters. Want to make money, fine, but when you do it at the expense of other people, so you're, am I allowed to swear? I'm going to anyway. But when you do it in a way that you're fucking with people's heads and making them believe in absolute horseshit, that's a limit. I mean, that's a line that shouldn't be crossed.
In certain communities, we call the grifters preacher
Yeah.
or
Like-
priest.
And here's the thing, like recently, there's been some attention brought to like GoFundMe's that were done under fraudulent pretense. Like there was one person that she lied about having cancer in order to get money from people.
We can mention her because she admitted it, so there's no libel to that.
Yeah, but still, I'm just.
But we won't. Yes.
Anyone in the community who's been following things on Twitter, they'll know who I'm referencing.
Yeah.
So, and it was things like that. It's like, I have a GoFundMe going right now, but I've been completely upfront and honest about what I want it for. And, I didn't really want to do the fundraiser. Like, I was actually talked into it because there's been people. Oh, weird. I'm getting a weird feedback.
Yeah, he's still echoing, dog.
I'm just going to put this out here, Kitty. Oh my god, that is bad. Who's done that?
It's dog.
Wow.
I don't
That
know
is
what
my
Dog's
worst
problem
nightmare.
is at the moment, but there's a lot of
Hearing
echo
my own
there,
sexy voice is bad.
Dog. You might need a headset, dog, just for the
But,
audio, so we don't get the
Yeah.
echo.
Just
Yeah,
got to
I-
say this, Kitty, just going to say this. You're not sat at the sewing machine. You've got the fancy virtual background. You say you want a new sewing machine. Come on.
I was late to the stream because I
You
was
know
working
what
on a
you're doing.
sewing
She was
project
late because she
Lost.
was sewing.
and lost track of time.
Hashtag Kitty's a grifter.
No, and like that's the thing. It's like I felt bad. Like I literally had to be talked into it because
But I was the same
like,
kitty for my shift one, so my
and
moving
it's
one.
one of those things. Like I literally, it's like there are people that'll be like, nah, I don't feel like helping with that, and that's cool. Like nobody should feel like I'm not. I wouldn't want to guilt someone in, and it bothers me when people try to guilt people into giving up their money. Like if you're just like, hey, I'm poor. Like I don't have a lot of expendable money and I have something that I'm passionate about that matters to me and, is good for my mental health. Like having a hobby when you deal with chronic pain is important. And so it's like, here, this all on the table, cards on the table. I need help to get this thing. Either people will help or they won't, but I'm not going to say something like, oh, I need it for like my dog has like cancer or, I have like that's just gross, you know.
It
like
is
as
gross.
someone who was by my mother's bedside when she had
Exactly.
cancer, like
It's very
just,
gross, and we
I think-
live now in this very messed up world where there are people who live in first world countries who have to go online and basically beg. I don't mean in the bad way of begging, but say they have to say, look, I can't afford this basic thing that I need. Is there any way somebody could just maybe help me out a little bit? And that's fine, that's okay. It's a shame that it happens, that it has
There's
to
a
happen.
difference between somebody that starts a hate mob, takes the money, and goes to Tahiti on vacation. There's a big difference. Or goes full Ted Cruz and goes on vacation while everything's hitting the fan, you know?
Or like Ben Shapiro, who we were talking about before, who shits on everybody who lives in LA whilst living there himself.
And Ben Shapiro lives in the heart of LA.
He
Like,
does.
yeah, he lives in the heart
literally
of
tweeted the other day that everyone who lives in LA is a sanctimonious piece of shit. That was what he tweeted. And he still lives in the middle of fucking LA.
And that's the one thing about Kevin. Hey, Perp, I love you.
Hey,
Hey,
Purples. Love ya.
Kevin. Kevin Sorbo. You know, Kurt Cameron stayed true to his guns, and he moved out of California. So I kind of respect Kurt Cameron for that because he moved to the Midwest.
It's interesting that you bring Sorbo up because he's not technically a grifter. He's just an arse. But I only found out the other day. I mean, he does talk utter bollocks. We know this.
Definitely.
But I only realised or found out the other day that he's actually, he's 65 or something now.
Is he really? I did not realise he was that
Yeah.
old.
He's been around. He's been
He
around a
has
long
been
time.
around. I was a kid when he did.
Apparently, he's suffered 2 strokes and might be a little bit not too with us, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean he's a grifter because he's not actually begging people for money, is he? That
But on
just
the-
means he's misguided.
But let me ask you a question. Are the people on Cameo grifting?
Remind me what Cameo is. Oh, yeah, the thing where you do that thing.
You pay a famous person to say your name.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're grifting.
Well, no, it's not grifting because, they know what it's about. You're paying them money to do a thing.
I think it depends
Exactly.
who's doing it because Godless.
Hello. Is there anybody? Oh, I almost got
At
through.
least we know where it's coming from.
It depends, I think. We've got tools that we can use because we live in the modern world. Except for Australia, Jen, obviously, because she lives
because
in
we live in the
Australia.
past. Hey, in our underground bunker, we have the best and latest technology and the bestest Wi-Fi.
Oh, hey, real quick, Stool. Let me show you something real quick.
I love it when she says that.
I will change this. You can see it is literally just a sheet that I have hanging up behind me.
It's literally not just a sheet because you know what? I'm cheeky and I've put you on full screen and I can see the creases. And you bought that off eBay, and that's not just literally a sheet.
It's a green sheet clipped up. That's it.
Yeah.
It's literally just muslin.
That was just a cunning ploy to get her to bend over.
Oh, she can hear you, you know.
Yeah, I can.
No. Australia, Jen, you don't understand technology. Understandable, because you're a woman.
Hey, you have a problem with eBay? I got this off of eBay.
I put
And they got-
magnets on the bottom so that it would like kind of hang flat. I just stuck a magnet on
We'll just
either
mute
side.
Stool
But
for
it
a
was
moment.
literally just a thin little sheet. Like this is like a thin bed sheet. It's just green.
My problem was I got too excited and I ordered the garage size green screen. So my green screen is 18 by 18.
Yeah,
Hi, Matt.
see, this is not that big.
It's huge. Don't ever order anything at 2:00 in the morning on Amazon.
Okay,
Stool
pro
hasn't
tip.
realised he's muted.
Too
yet.
late.
Pro tip: before streaming, paint your kids and pets green so nobody sees them running through.
Hey,
No,
You
the
know,
reason
that's a
I
great
got
idea.
this.
Yeah. You should have made your kids PJs in green, then that way we could just see a head running past.
Well,
No,
the reason why
no.
I have this set up behind me is because my son has a habit of running around naked, and I don't want him to end up with, his birthday suit on stream.
Yeah, that could be an issue.
So this is why I got the sheet to put behind me. It just so happens I got it in green so that it would be a little nicer.
I'm not going to say I bought a lot of stuff before you kids ever thought about YouTube, but downstairs, I've got the biggest green screen you could ever see. And Will, if you ever want to do show and tell or compare sizes, come on, bring it on. Show me yours or show you mine.
We can Rochambeau anytime. Let me know.
This is how Stool starts his grift.
Are you kidding me? Sapphire and steel. That's a grift. Ebony and ivory, that's a grift from the jump.
This is going slightly off topic and unlike
Slightly.
unlike me, because I'm usually the one to take it totally whoa. But
No, we can go back to the grift. Like I said, in certain communities we call it preachers. Back in the day,
real quick. Sorry, Will, just everybody quiet for a sec so Dog can say something, because I just saw a pop-up in the side chat that he wanted to say something. So if we're all quiet, then there won't be feedback.
Okay.
Dog, you can go ahead and talk.
Can you hear me?
Oh Lord, let me take a riff.
My new device just kills audio for some reason. So I'm gonna I've left a note in the side chat. Kitty, I'm proud to donate to your new sewing machine. It's brilliant. It's a great idea.
Sewing machine.
But can I just say that Trump is now got GoFundMe and also is grifting for his legal fees at the moment.
exactly.
Yeah.
No one's mentioned that.
I was going to
I was
go
going to go there, but
That's probably the world. He's probably the world's biggest drifter. Am I echoing now?
Yeah.
you are.
Yeah.
Trump
Is he the world?
Trump, sorry, Doc. Trump is the biggest drifter of recent years. And I've seen the email, not the emails, the text that he's sending out to his people. And you've got to be an absolute and you've got to be really stupid to fall for that scam, to fall for that grift, because it's so blatantly obvious.
Yeah.
How's it going, Jaded Atheist?
Hi, Jade.
Hey, I'm good. How are you
Person
guys?
is on my square.
Awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
I muted Dog for just a minute so that you can talk. So, I can't see the private chat, so Will and Kitty are going to have to keep an eye on it. So if Dog wants to speak.
I wanted to make sure that he got to say something because, I just wanted to say thank you and that I appreciate everyone that's helping me out with this. It really, really means a lot to me. You have no idea. And I feel weird and awkward about asking, but the fact that people are coming out to help me, I'm really, truly touched. And I just want to hug all of you. But, I mean, we're scattered around the world and COVID, so virtual hugs.
Just to ignore the echo, can I just say, Kitty, it all boils down to a mental health situation, and we've all been through it. And if this gets you through your little bit of nonsense, then you're welcome to it. You really are, and you deserve it, to be fair. And I'm going to leave the chat now because obviously my new device is crap.
Dog, you don't echo when you're speaking. So as long as you're not talking, you're fine.
So I'm mute if I'm not talking. How does that work then, Purple?
When you're talking, you're fine. When you stop talking, you're mute.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll mute when I'm not talking. I'll stay on board.
There you go.
Yeah, Kitty. I think something that would make a big difference for you is if you could put up a PayPal link, because GoFundMe will not accept PayPal, so people have to be able to give a credit card to donate.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably slowed down your donations.
You can do it through Google Pay as well, but yeah, it's a bit of a pain in the butt. Most of us should have Google Pay though, because it's one of the things you set up when you set up your YouTube channel. So
Yeah, you probably have it and don't even know it.
I use Google Pay, and I've never used it. Yeah.
yeah, mine had a credit card linked to it that I haven't had for like 5 years, because that's how long ago I set up my Google Pay.
I do have a Cash App that I set up for people wanting to chip in when I was sewing masks for everybody, because people would want to toss $5 or $10, towards materials for making masks for people. The only issue I have with using my PayPal is it's linked to my full legal name, and
that's something
I'm the only
PayPal
person
needs
with
to
the
fix.
name.
Yeah,
And
PayPal
I'm the
needs to
only
let you set up fundraisers that don't have your full name, just have the email address.
Yeah, I like PayPal's fundraiser is just as easy as GoFundMe, and that they actually take less money off, and it doesn't cost anything for the people to donate, whereas GoFundMe does. So the donators get charged the money on the donations, but that's an aside point, because people should still help.
I think it's the other way around, because I think it's just they take a cut out of the money. So if you make $300 in donations, then you'll get like $287 or something like that instead.
Yeah. You do lose a bit off the end with PayPal, but yeah. But
Jesus, Ox is on top of it. Holy hell.
Ox is really on top of it. I should highlight that. So there we go. There's a link for Kitty's Cash App. So whilst we're talking about Grift,
your full legal name. So that was why I set it up.
Please go and support Kitty, either on Cash App or the GoFundMe link, which is down below in the description. Whilst you're down there, the link to my Patreon's down there, so whilst we're getting Grift in. I may as well grift whilst I'm grifting.
I think the moral here is basically,
Jen's
if you can afford it, and yeah, you are. If you can afford it and you've got a few quid to spare, then help somebody out.
Yeah.
But if you haven't got a few quid to spare, don't feel guilty.
Exactly.
Just give a bit of love.
So whilst we're talking about... Oh, sorry, Perps, go.
Well, just part of why I've been involved in so many fundraisers is if people want to send something to my PayPal that I could send, Kitty, if you want to do it that way. Because my legal name is so generic, it doesn't matter if everybody knows it, you still won't find me.
I mean, I'm totally fine with that. I absolutely fully trust you, Purple. Like, you are like the beacon of honesty and helping people in the community with fundraisers and stuff. So I'm fine with that. Like I said, I'm literally the only person in the United States with my legal name. So, and there's some crazy people out there. I've had some people do some creepy shit before, and I don't want them coming to my place of residence,
Oh, yeah, and
Ox
I
just
understand.
asked a question. I'm confused. Does grifting equal e-begging? Yes and no. It can do. That's the thing about it. Because
e-begging is something different.
I have an old man question. As the old man, the resident Gen Xer here, Stool is as well. What's e-begging?
People, that's what they call us. Like, if you put up a GoFundMe because you need money, and
Australia, Jen.
Anyone? I did for shifting.
Question number 2: what's an emu?
Well,
an electronic.
I know what an emu is.
It's the electronic digital version of a subatomic particle.
Oh, what a map!
I think the key difference
Matt
is
with
that
the dad jokes, the sciencey dad jokes. I love it.
You can't trust atoms, though. They make everything up. Although I might have
is
to change that. They make up most things because energy is still making up a fair portion of the universe.
Well,
I think
everything's energy.
Well,
Isn't
or it
that
has an
just
energy equivalent.
compressed energy?
Have to be wording there is it depends who you
Well,
ask.
no, because you can look on matter. This is not this topic. We're gonna go down a rabbit hole here, Matt.
This has gone so off topic.
so.
Stop it before someone learns something.
Yes, stop it.
Don't worry, I
This
know
is
how
not-
we can bring this back to grifting.
Okay.
Sorry, Jen. You.
I think the key thing is that, grifting is that somebody is misleading the people who are sending them the money.
There we go.
Yes. Yeah. I
You
think
know,
that's
if you're
what it comes
honest
down
about
to.
what the money's going for, no matter how you get it, that's not grifting if the people sending it know what you're going to spend the money on.
I think there's also an element of grifting if you're raising money. If you're somebody who's raising money for something you don't need to raise money for. So like
Well, no, because I think that could be where e-begging falls.
or where you more a case of you're raising money to then you say you're going to do it for something, but basically you're using it for everything else, which is a certain Anita Sarkeesian did.
Or raising money when you can afford
Allegedly.
to pay for the thing yourself. Like, say you do like I don't know, like flat Earth debunking or something, and you want equipment for debunking the flat Earth, which is honestly, it's just kind of redundant. Like anybody that isn't like completely smooth brain knows exactly that the Earth is round. But I digress. Like, say you are a person that is doing like flat Earth debunking, and you expect your community and do a fundraiser to raise money for some piece of equipment that you literally could afford to pay for yourself. You just want other people to pay for it because reasons.
Yeah, it's like I recently bought a computer. If I had done a GoFundMe for it, then I'm a complete scumbag for that. If you can afford it, that's on you.
Yeah.
No, not necessarily, because isn't that the same as keeping your personal and business finances separate?
If you're running your
I
show
guess-
as a business, I guess. But I think
This
it
is
comes down to
going to
that
become-
goes back to the honesty, doesn't it? If you're saying to your people, hey, I'm going to buy this thing anyway, but I'm going to ask if you guys can help me. If you're honest
This
about
is
that
going
up
to
front.
become a heated debate,
Yeah,
and
that's
this is,
it. You know,
This is,
if I'm
this
saying
is why
I'm-
I'm here, because I knew this would get people angry, because this is my major fucking gripe in life.
No, hold on really quick. Dog wanted me to mention that this community does take care of each other. Like I said,
Yep.
I am jaded and old, and I'm stuck in my ways. Don't ever take medical advice from Godless Sewing. This
Or any
community
other
does
advice,
help each other.
really. I mean,
This community does help each other.
we have some very
Disclaimer.
generous people in this community, and we
The
have a
last
lot of people
time-
who are broke, but if they can ever find a way to help, they will.
The
Absolutely.
last time I took advice from Godless Sewing, I got arrested. I'm just going to say that. Dude,
let's circle
Listen.
back around to...
Has that rash cleared up yet?
no. It's all around my balls.
I got some prescription stuff for.
Did you get cavity searched? Cool. I hope so.
All right, let's circle back to the beginning and why I asked Jade to come on, because I wanted to talk about prosperity gospel, because I know in some of your history with in your past religious life, you have some experience with prosperity gospel. So, and would you consider that grifting? Whoa.
Sorry, I was trying to unmute myself and it took away my audio. Yeah, well, we just, all the evangelical pastors, like, that are constantly asking for money and then have mansions and drive fancy ass cars. And even in our church, we were constantly doing fundraisers, but then never did anything that we said we were going to do with the money. Like, I remember one time we raised money because we were supposed to send it to go help build homes in New Mexico. And then last minute, after we raised all the funds from all these people, something had happened at our church that we needed to update. And it was like not something that we needed to use, especially funds that we had told people were going to something and went to something else.
And I think in that instance, even the church is subject to a lawsuit.
Oh yeah, I think if anyone found out, they would be in trouble for that.
Not in America though, because the leaders in crazy America land will never ever do anything about these crazy religions that
It
get
would
away
pretty
with
much matter
all
to
kinds
whether or
of
not you
shit.
get a judge that's the same denomination as the church.
True, because even to a certain extent, the Catholic Church does it. Because
definitely
in my town, the Catholic Church they have money, but in my town they're doing a fundraiser right now because they're building a cathedral in the middle of my town. I mean, like it's gonna be an eyesore. It's gonna be huge.
Do you know? There's a word for that, Will. Do you know what it is?
What's that?
Scientology.
No, it's the Catholic
Scientology.
Church.
Yeah, but it's the same
thing.
grift. It's the same.
Scientology was just one big huge grift from the beginning, wasn't it? I mean,
Yes.
L. Ron Hubbard deliberately actually said before he did it, one day I'm just going to create a religion to avoid tax and make money. And he did.
Isn't he the one who was quoted saying the fastest way to get rich is to start a religion?
Yes.
But also on that, like I've spoken to people and had to sit there with a straight face because it was not circumstance where I could actually say no. But I've listened to people, particularly from Catholic or the Maronite churches, who are telling me about when they get out the relics to do tours with them, where they take the relic around to get money, because that's one way of doing it. And I've never quite understood that. I know why they do it, obviously.
The church that I grew up going to, every year they send the catechism classes to Italy and to Israel.
When Australia Jen said prosperity gospel, is that the thing where in America land they say you send me $1 and you will become rich?
Yeah, put your hand on the receiver if you're a believer.
Yeah. So basically, give us money, you're buying your way into heaven, and you will be rich in the afterlife because of all the money you give us now. That's pretty much prosperity gospel.
You're storing your treasure in heaven, which is more important than here. So
I feel... Oh, sorry.
Well, a lot of times they're not even saying about heaven, that they're leaving it kind of vague and implying that if you send them money that just
you'll become rich
through the grace of God, that you will receive back 10 times what you send to me.
Someone's seed,
that is true as well.
It is one of the original Grifts.
Can I interject with my nonsense? Considering my hatred is against the Catholic Church. I mean, recently we've got Canada, and go back in time to India and Ireland. Why isn't that church not even being destroyed or vandalized or held on in California? The Catholic Church is evil. Well, all religion is a hate cult as far as I'm concerned. But why do the Catholics get because they've got the money, they can pay off people and they can buy their way out of situations where, well, I don't care anymore. The Catholics are horrible. Religion shit. I'm going to mute.
I think that one of the one of the most vile kind of grifts is send me your money and you'll become rich on this planet, not Jaded's planet, wherever she came from, but on this planet. I mean, that is a really sick thing to do, because there are people on this planet who are struggling financially and find themselves in really troubled situations, and they fall for this nonsense. And that's a really sick thing. You've got to be a fucking sick bastard to do that.
Yeah, but it's everywhere because I watch a lot of financial stuff on YouTube, and I always get those grifting commercials of like, hey, do you see me in my Porsche? Hey, do you see me by the pool? Like, they're still doing the same stuff they were doing in the 80s
Still
on TV.
doing it, yeah.
Yeah, you know, like somebody's buying it or they wouldn't be out there. You know, someone is buying these grifts. You know,
so here's a question to go from that. Is grifting the gateway to cultism? Because if you're getting the money from these people and you're using these ideas, especially in prosperity gospel, where you're saying, "Oh, you're saving up your treasures for in heaven" and stuff like that, are you stepping towards the realm of becoming a cult because you're wanting to control your followers so you get more money, which is what most cults do?
I'm going to say something kind of controversial. Because I'm a capitalist in America, at least you have the right to make money. Yes. So if someone gives you $1 because
they're an idiot,
then that's unfortunately that's capitalism. I'm sorry.
In other countries, you're not allowed to do that.
No, I'm just saying. I'm speaking for myself.
Okay,
you know,
Will, that's
as Will often does.
Yeah, that's on the thing of yes, it's technically legal, but it's still unethical.
Agree. I agree.
Is grifting any different than a scam?
No.
Not really.
No. It's basically the same word, yeah.
So you've got your televangelists and your people who e-beg and people who are desperate for money that they sell themselves, like Kevin Sorbo, as I've said.
Joel,
I guess. In my sleepy brain, echo. A scam would be like a one-time thing that you do. Here's a scam. You buy into it or you don't. Whereas a grift is an ongoing thing. You're a grifter, and your whole kind of reason to exist is that you are too fucking lazy to actually do a real job, and you realise that there are mugs out there who will give you money if you lie to them continually.
See, but Trump is a perfect example of it. In America, you're allowed to tax people for being idiots.
Yeah.
If someone's going to pay you, then...
Trump, in a way, is kind of the prosperity gospel thing with a couple extra steps in there. Because, the reason that people support him and voted for him is because they were buying the thing that if he got elected, it meant all of them were going to move up in social status.
Yeah. He did give massive tax breaks to people over a certain socioeconomic standing.
But not the people who mostly voted for him, which were lower
socioeconomic. Not the people living in trailer parks.
Exactly. So if you made over a certain amount, he hooked you up. But if you didn't, then it was a grift.
To be fair to Trump, and I don't think anyone ever should be, but to be fair to Trump, every fucking politician does that. You pay the people
Trump
who get you.
Yes. What the orange shit Gibbon did with that tax thing was a scam.
Well, it's more than that,
Trump
though.
Is a grifter. I think we need
Trump
to
University.
learn the difference between the words.
Look at Trump University. He literally had to pay a settlement. Like he basically, it was money, prosperity gospel without God. Of I will teach you all the tricks on how to make money in real estate, on how to essentially improve your financial situations. Like he literally started the grift long before he ran for office.
Oh, he was grifting since he was born. And the thing that Kitty's talking about now, that payment that he had to make to settle, that was very early days into his presidency. Very early days. But
they were all things that Trump failed at. How can he teach it if he failed?
Yeah, Trump has done worse than if he'd just put his savings that his dad gave him into a bank account. Even if just a regular interest rate on the bank account, not even matching inflation, he would have been in a financially better spot than he is now. Exactly. If anyone needed any better argument as to why he can't run an economy, They should have looked at that.
The
Yeah.
financial
literally
experts have done their sums and their math on this, and he literally. So, I'm sorry to steal your word, Kitty, because you're quite fond of literally today, but if he would literally have been a proper millionaire, not billionaire, if he just kept his money in the bank.
Yeah, he could
The
have just
only
lived off
way-
daddy's money for the rest of his life.
The only way to make money is to not spend money. Greatest advice that I'll ever give you. You should take that advice.
Here's the thing. I have said this multiple times. I would not want to be rich. Like, I would love to win the Powerball, but my life would not actually really change much. I would buy a piece of property that's about 100 acres, build a couple houses on it so me and my parents can live near each other so my son can be with them whenever, but there's far enough distance there. We're not under the same roof because that would not work. But aside from that initial startup of building the house of my dreams on a decent sized piece of property and building a house for my family, the rest of the money is going to sit in the bank, and I will like live off the interest, and I would essentially draw the same amount, maybe a little bit more than we're making now, because we're barely squeaking by right now. So an extra $10,000 or $20,000 a year to make our lives so much more comfortable. But that's it. Like, literally, I would not live any differently. I would siphon the money off. That is the interest, never touch the principal, and then, partition the interest out where I'd have like a savings that didn't get touched, and then a savings that if it was a fund me or something like that, I could then go and just help people in the community. I can help, different causes, and, I want enough money to not have to ever worry about money. Like, I've been disabled since I was 19. I have not been able to work since I was 19. So, when it comes down to it, like, I would love to like work a normal job and, juggle the whole being a mom and, having a career. I had goals and dreams and aspirations, but it didn't pan out. Like, life sucks sometimes.
It does.
And so, like, financial instability is always something that has really worried me. Like, my partner, Michael, he's like primary breadwinner. If something were to happen to him, it would be fucking Armageddon for me and my son. Like, I have no idea what the fuck we would do. And, like, that's terrifying. And I'm not gonna lie, there are times that it's kept me up at night, and, like, definitely not healthy. But, like, we all worry about different things. And ultimately, just people that can go out and provide for themselves that choose not to, it bothers me. But then there's also my, ultra, like, socialist side where I believe that, society as a whole, there should be a baseline below which you cannot fall. Like, your basic necessities should be met. Housing, food, healthcare,
You said the S word. You said the S word.
Dude,
Social
the older I
Security.
get, the more I am like getting to the point where I'm just like, fuck capitalism, like post-capitalist. Like, I am literally getting to the point where I am just like, capitalism is like, I can't say evil, it's amoral.
The problem
it's
you've got is
damaging.
true socialism. True socialism and true capitalism neither work properly. What you need is a hybrid in between, because in a true socialistic society, I don't think you have the incentives for people to. We think we can be incentivized enough as a human species to help each other, but a lot of people can't. They can't do that. They have to know that they can improve their own situation in life to be incentivized to do things. Some people are legitimately like that. I would be happy with just having a society where we're for the benefit of everybody else, and ourselves, obviously, as part of that. But where you're working for the betterment of society itself, that would be awesome as far as I'm concerned. But a lot of people couldn't live with that. So you need something that's a mix of the two. So you need your social welfare, you need... As you were trying to get to, Kitty, what was it called? The basic payment, where you get
The UBI.
You have a
UBI.
UBI, Universal Basic Income. Now, here's a fear that you'll get from people who are right-wing, that if you had a UBI, you're basically turning everybody into grifters.
But here's the thing, like, I mean, automation is the number one job killer, and eventually there's not going to be enough jobs for everybody. So we're going to have to move to a UBI type system in the future.
And our population is almost at 8 billion, isn't it?
Well,
yes.
Like that.
and
Like we're that's
And Matt had his hand up.
I think
how polite.
I saw Stool doing it earlier. I thought can't be nastier than that. No, I'm kidding. I find this interesting. I've always been a fan because it is that motivation thing that comes into it.
Yeah.
But so capitalism works well on that. But my thoughts on it are that you still need very strict rules that make it so that within the law that the goals of the law mean that you actually will benefit other people, and that's how you make money. So I did a course last year, very, very brief one, that involved looking at the circular economy and how you do that. And there was some things in there where you set up the rules so that there are financial benefits to being good to the planet, being good to other people, trying to reduce waste. So I think that's the kind of thing where this lies. Now, I actually have a business degree, and originally I was not planning on ever doing research at uni beyond a few projects in undergrad. That was my plans. If you'd asked me first, second, third year if I was going to do what I'm doing now, I would have said no pretty conclusively, and did so to quite a few people. And my thoughts was, I'd always go into business, but then as I went along, I changed. But what's the point of this? Well, it's also to do with what Kitty was saying earlier. I'm in a similar position where I chose to do this knowing that a PhD is likely going to reduce how much I'm going to earn in the future quite significantly in some areas. Like, I was definitely qualified enough to go out, but I don't need to. And I'd rather get to the end of my life, and I imagine most people here would too, knowing that you made a positive benefit to the world. Even if it was tiny, even if it was someone else built upon it, or at least you tried, and you may not have succeeded, but hey, that happens. So I just, when it comes to these sorts of people, I just can't see how people would want to get to the end of their life and not leave the world in a better position than they found it.
I mean, that's always been my goal. Leave the world just that little bit better than it was before I entered.
Or to be more succinct, don't leave it shitter.
Yeah.
Net neutral is fine. If you can't do better, then neutral is fine.
What were we going to say, Purple?
The problem we're having with capitalism, at least the way the American system is that we have a lot of people out there who have talent, who have great ideas, that will never get anywhere because they never have any opportunity. They are struggling so hard just to pay their rent every month that we have inventions that will never see the light of day because of it.
No, I agree. I'm from the land of nepotism. I agree with that 100%. Most people around here have their jobs because their parents gave it to them. Especially in the movie industry, especially,
So that's what I see
around here.
That's where I see society benefiting from UBI. I mean, people talk a lot about the artist, but I think you would see a lot more innovation and inventions happening if people knew that they were going to have a roof over their head and food every day, even if they spent all their time focusing on building this new thing.
Yeah.
As a capitalist, my only problem with that is we would have to have enough people to keep society running. And I say that as somebody who actually runs the business. We would need people to keep the Hoover Dam going so the West Coast can have power.
But you'd still have those people. I don't see why you wouldn't. Not everyone chooses their job just because of the money they're going to make from it. A lot of people choose the things they want to do because of their love for the things that they're doing.
Plus, you would still be compensated for that job. It's like you'd have a bare minimum, so you wouldn't have to do anything to survive. But if you wanted luxuries, if you wanted things, above and beyond, then, you would enter the workforce or find some other way, for enrichment. One thing that I actually, Bernie was my guy, but one thing that I actually sided more with Andrew Yang on over Bernie is the UBI. Like Bernie's thing was a federal jobs guarantee, which is all well and good, but that wouldn't do anything to benefit someone like me or someone, who has, that they're a full-time carer, like someone that is either a stay-at-home mom, has a special needs child, has a family member that is ill or terminal, and they have to take care of it. Sure, a jobs guarantee would be great, but if you're disabled and physically can't work that job, or if you're taking care of someone who is disabled or ill, you're kind of like screwed out of that economic benefit.
Well, and I think the part of the UBI that people miss is we're talking about a minimum level. So that basically, if you got a UBI, okay, you basically have like a one-room studio apartment and enough food to eat. That's about all you're being guaranteed. So if you want something more than a one-room apartment, then you go to work, you earn some money, and you can get yourself a two-bedroom apartment.
Or a house.
There's another problem with UBI, and it does sound rather appealing and kind of utopia-like. But what you've got to realise is that we are humans. So if UBI was introduced worldwide tomorrow, and we're all guaranteed, I'll make a number up, we're all guaranteed $100 per month, and we can all live on that. That's adequate. We can feed ourselves and clothe ourselves and have a roof over our head. People like my racist friend up here, or wherever he is, what is he going to do tomorrow? He's going to put the rent up on the houses.
Well, I'm living on a partial disability, so I'm pretty close to what would be the UBI thing anyway. That, I get a monthly payment from Social Security. Basically I've got my rent covered. But I still keep working because I want to have a car.
So right now in California, we basically have UBI because of COVID, and we have a shortage of people in every field. And like what Junie said, I could care less because I don't eat fast food. But in anything that you could think of, there's signs on the door like, hey, have patience with us because there's only 5 people working. And we used to have 75 people working here, So we have a shortage of people in general. But that's because people don't want to catch COVID. And I don't blame anyone for not wanting to catch COVID for minimum wage.
We've had a similar thing in Australia. And also in Australia, I know the system is not perfect. The amount of money different people get, that's a debate for another day. But we have something very, very close to that in that we have, you can get on welfare if you're not working here, and that would include people like Kitty would probably have to go for it. I'm not sure the exact specifics with it, and there's always been that right-wing argument, these people aren't going to work, they want to get a job or they can't support. But over time, you do get a few people like that, but it also means the people who can't work still have some form of income. Now, as I said, the amounts and the rates, that's a debate for another day that I am not qualified or knowledgeable enough on about to get into, but it works here because what it does is it also keeps people out of crime, because if you have enough money and you're not in a desperate position where you need to do something underhanded to get that money, you won't. But the one big problem I have seen though around Sydney is that we're not very good when it comes to mental health, because if you've got some mental health problem, it's harder for you to get that money because you need to go to the government centres and sign out forms. So we're not, but that I think is a problem more globally. But it does work, and it's not a lot of money. Like, you can get by on it. You get a few extra things. But again, this is why you wouldn't do this alone, going back to Mr. Caroline's argument. Was that you wouldn't do it alone. You'd have to put in restrictions for things like rent and job security. So you'd have to keep the minimum wage probably above the UBI, so that any form of work will get you more.
And that's the. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no! I'm pretty much done. You
well, I thought the idea would be that if you were like working a part-time job, you could continue to be receiving the UBI, and then you would be receiving the payment from your job in addition.
Yes, you don't lose the UBI. Everyone gets the UBI. It doesn't matter how much money you earn. It's not means tested, but there is no. Sorry, Doc.
I think that we should have UBI, but like a place like here in California, you'd have to make like almost $35 to $45 an hour to survive.
Thief.
Here's
You
the
know?
thing, though. Well,
I jumped in on purpose.
You did. Now I forgot what I was saying. And Kitty has too. Sorry, Kitty.
Oh, no. Oh, bloody hell.
Hey,
We
I'm
were
a
talking about
hoarder.
not being
Tear
means-tested.
it all down. Tear it all
point
down.
is,
I'm a hoarder.
in most Western countries, you have a tax-free threshold where if you earn under a certain amount, you don't pay any tax. So, and I know what that's like too, Matt. So, so what ends up happening is there's no such thing as a tax-free threshold if you have a UBI. So your tax starts from the first dollar you earn, but you still get your UBI. So your UBI is basically your tax-free. But if you earn on top, you're still earning extra money. You start losing your tax out of your first dollar.
In my case, it's really weird. They just don't classify the income I get for doing a PhD as income. It's a scholarship, so I don't pay any tax on it. But at the same rate, they can actually pay me less than minimum wage, and that's perfectly legal because it's not a wage.
Yeah.
And again, that's with the partial disability. That's the system I'm working under. Is that I can make up to about $300. And they don't take anything away. If I make more than that, then they take away $2 for every $3 I earn on top of that.
It's pretty much the same for me, perhaps with being on a carer's pension.
like, one thing I wanted to say, going back to Will's thing about, there's the labor shortage. I mean, the vast majority of the labor shortage right now is actually women. They are very overrepresented because they're home with their kids. You also have to factor in that the U.S. labor force has been shafted by, the minimum wage not really rising since the 70s, it not keeping up with inflation. Had it kept up with inflation, it'd be around $20 an hour. Had it kept up with productivity, it'd be like $27 an hour. So, if I recall correctly from the last thing I read on it. So when it comes down to it, you're looking at $20 to $30 an hour minimum wage had, it actually kept up with productivity or inflation. And it just hasn't. And yet the housing market has gone out of control, especially in areas like California. So you have people in my generation that their only chance of home ownership is if they actually came from at least a middle class background where their parents owned a home and they have to wait for their parents to die. That's how you get a house.
I agree with you. Out of all of my friends in real life space, like I always say, there's only 2 of us out of like 12 that don't live with their parents.
So, and that's the thing. So people
I always find it
like,
funny when Will said he has friends.
So to bring it back to grifting. Oh, sorry, Kitty.
Yeah, sorry. No, I was just going to finish my point
Finish
before Will jump in. Talking about like with the labor shortage and stuff, people have been so like abused by the system. Like after a year of being out of work, or struggling to get by in, say, a minimum wage job while dealing with the pandemic, like, is it really any wonder that right now, like, the labor force has a bit more power because all these places want to hire people. They have a little bit more say. Usually it's the other way around in the equation where you can literally just replace somebody at the drop of a hat. But because labor has a bit more power, people are being more cautious about what jobs they take, or quitting their jobs and taking a little bit of time to decide, what do I want to do? Do I want to try to do something where I feel more fulfilled or where I might make a bit more money? Why would I settle for this abusive labor practices that we have in this country?
And I think the only reason that we're even having a discussion on the UBI now is people are realizing because of the pandemic how easily it is for them to fall from getting by to having to go on welfare. And that virtually no one knows. There is virtually no one who doesn't know someone who doesn't have a friend or family who fell through the holes during the pandemic.
I don't know how it is in California, but in South Dakota, we also are in a labor shortage, but our unemployment is lower than it was before the pandemic. It's just that, like, I used to work in the restaurant business. A lot of my friends worked in the restaurant business when the pandemic started. South Dakota never shut down. We never had any enforcements in place for COVID because our governor doesn't think that it's that big of a deal. So a lot of my friends, and I quit my job working in an office and found an online work from home job based in California that would allow me to be safe and keep my high risk daughter safe. My friends in the restaurant business quit their jobs because they were forced to continue to serve people, were forced to not wear masks because it would worry customers.
That's gross.
Yeah, so I don't know how that was in California or not, but our labor shortage, even though people want to say it's because of the unemployment benefits, our unemployment is lower than it was before the pandemic started. It's just that we all found jobs that respected us more doing something else, and now people are upset about it.
Ours is more COVID related because we had it under grips at first, and then when we eased everything, that's when it just got out of control, and hundreds of thousands of people got COVID. And I'm Kitty, get your bell ready. I'm a born asthmatic, so like I have been hiding for a year and a half. Like when I go in public, you would laugh at me. I still double mask. I still put gloves on when I go certain places. Even when I go to work, I still put gloves on. So I'm right there with you. As an employer, I don't think people should go back to work anyways. I burn the system down. Like I say, burn it all down. It sucks for everybody. Do you know people that own businesses pay unreal amounts in taxes because the government's paranoid and they want their money up front?
Do you think a UBI would have helped though? Because in this situation, all those people who were stuck in states where their government wasn't prepared to, the local government wasn't prepared to lock down, wasn't prepared to protect people, could have taken the time off work without having to worry about losing their house or being able to eat or whatever else, because the UBI would have been there to protect them.
I just want to say, you're saying about the government getting business owners because you have to pay bills up front. And that's really the case for all the employees, that most people have about 20 to 30% of the money taken out of their paycheck before they ever see it, and hope to get a tax return at the end of the year.
Everybody's getting ripped off.
Oh,
everybody.
We'll let Dog talk and trying to avoid the echo.
And by no means am I defending capitalism. By no means am I defending capitalism. Tear it down for all I care.
Yes, you are.
You have to have the last word, don't you?
He'll never get the last word when I'm around.
Would UBI work under Trump?
No, because Trump was only for the rich. Like I said, he literally gave tax incentives to people who earned over a certain amount of money. So even people who didn't vote for Trump, he was like, and this was at the end of Trump's presidency. So it was like right before the election. All of a sudden, if you were in a sudden socioeconomic background, you were getting mad incentives back on your house, on your bank account for having a certain amount of money, because Trump hooked up rich people thinking they would vote for him.
And to be fair, that wasn't just Trump, because most of that couldn't get through with the Republican president if both houses of Congress weren't Republican.
Agreed.
So most of that goes back on the Republicans in Congress.
Yeah,
they were so dirty
with your government system, to be honest. Hi, Jeff. Can we actually hear you now?
Hello.
Hi, Jeff. We can hear you.
Jeff's so well.
Hi, Jeff.
Oh God, who's echoing?
Yeah, I've got to mute again. I just want to say hi.
Hi.
I'm guessing Jeff's going to talk about football.
I want to talk about football.
I don't want to.
I've been watching because of Jeff, and that was an amazing match.
Do you have to? Really?
Jeff against Hopswatch was an amazing match. I have no idea what everyone else is talking about.
That was a good evening, but right.
Your thoughts on UBI and grifting,
now,
Jeff?
because everyone. Well, grifting's. Grifting. I think grifting's a bit of a different thing. Sorry, I've had a lot of thoughts. I've not woken up properly at all yet. So, come back to me, Jen. Actually, I've really not woken up at all.
All right, no worries.
Did
We'll come
Jeff
back.
just say I've had a lot of port? Is that what he said? Have you been on the port, Jeff?
Still corner. The new corner.
Okay. Sorry, Jeff. Sorry.
Face the wall.
We'll come back to you, Jeff.
The problem is too in America, businesses get mass tax incentive and tax breaks, and they get to the system is corrupt in every direction.
This is one of the problems because Americans are absolutely obsessed, or certain Americans, with the word tax, and most of them don't understand it whatsoever. And if you say tax somebody at a higher rate, they think that everybody will be taxed at that higher rate. They don't understand incremental taxation whatsoever.
Well, people don't understand taxes. In the U.S., it is because the politicians have deliberately tried to obfuscate it. They haven't wanted people to understand any other tax plans. And yes, I think it would be much different if politicians would go out there and explain what it is being done. That, okay, we are going to tax people this percentage on this item, and the money will be used for this project, period.
No,
and if
that's
they
not
would
what
be
I'm...
specific, and if people understood what the money was going for, I don't think there would be such resistance.
The idea of taxing people on products, that's just American and weird, so stop doing that, Purple. I hate you. But general taxation on what you earn is something that Americans are really weird and fucking messed up about. Because you know what, that high tax rate, whatever it might be, let's say it's 60% or 70%, guess what? You're never going to pay it. Ever in your life.
Yeah.
You're going to be paying the really low down tax rate.
And the rich people don't pay that 60% either because they have really, really good accountants who get them out of it.
Exactly.
So who pays 60%? No one.
I think we need to move from taxing people on what they earn to taxing people on what they consume.
Well, that's what a goods and services tax is.
I just have
Well,
aerosmith stuck in my head now.
If you come from a country where you have a GST, GSTs can just fuck off. Goods and services tax are a pain in the ass. Especially if you're... And not so much for the person who's buying the goods, but anyone who's running a business, GST is a pain in the ass.
I live in
It is a massive pain in the ass, but, as somebody, you won't believe this, but I used to be a grown-up and I used to have a business.
Never.
Oh, fuck you. And the VAT system in this country actually works quite well.
Yeah.
It does. And so we don't have this stupid system like you do in America where you go to one state and you have to pay so much tax on what you buy and all that crap. And
in California, we pay sales tax on everything. And for a $9 thing of Coke, I paid $10.72. And that was 90 cents in taxes I paid.
Okay, but aren't VAT taxes inherently regressive though? I mean, it just seems like it would hit the lower socioeconomic classes more than a progressive income tax.
The interesting thing about income tax is it didn't exist until after the First World War. There was no such thing as income tax. You had property tax that people paid for on their land and stuff like that, but income tax was introduced after the First World War to help England
for
and
the
other
war.
countries pay for the war, basically. The income tax was to pay for the war. And then once they've done that, they go, well, this is a great way of raising funds. Let's keep it.
I notice that you're blaming England.
I'm not just
That's why I
blaming
laughed
England.
when
No,
when
it
you
wasn't
said-
just England. The USA, England, Australia, all of them did exactly the same thing. It was like they all sat down in a round table and said, how can we pay for this? I've got an idea. So fuck them all.
Fun fact, if
I'll
you
blame
say
England.
England 3 times, Jeff will sing Sweet Caroline.
Well, actually, the U.S. is way ahead of that one. Go ahead, Doug.
I was going to say, it's the stealth taxes you need to watch out for, like taxing diesel or heavy fuel, as you call it in America. That basically taxes everything, because everything is moved by trucks and lorries and whatnot, and that's known as a stealth tax, and it's all shit.
Being
Well,
where
luckily-
I'm from, I expect taxes on everything. I just expect to pay high taxes no matter what. And
We have
I'm
the
going to
same
say
thing
something really quick. Our taxes do go, at least where I live, like
This will not be quick.
they pave our streets. They put all these plants in this. We told the city like that's useless, so they took them out and they made concrete. Because I live in the high desert, so taxes kind of do work, but also in the same sense. Like I recently had a problem, called the county, they didn't show up, so I don't know anymore. Burn it all down for all I care.
By the way, B, I like your new icon. It looks cool. Sorry, I just noticed it when I popped up what B said in the chat, so it looks cool. I've sidetracked myself. Yes, we have the same thing, Dogger. Over here you have fuel excise, which everyone pays on their fuel. So effectively you're getting a tax on transportation, because whether it's by train or whether it's by truck, it's all being transported and they're paying tax on the fuel, which is horrendous over here, by the way. Fuel excise makes up 50% of our cost in petrol and diesel in Australia. 50% of it is government tax, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, your gas is almost more than California prices, and we're paying like almost $5 right now.
Yeah, fuel is stupidly expensive. I think we can all agree on that one. Fuel is a grift by the government.
What's that, Brandon?
Well, I was saying $5 a gallon.
Yeah, and I have a Ford F-150 and a Flex and another Ford F-150. So we're talking like around $300-$400 to fill up all the cars. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Well, in the U.S., we're talking at $5 a gallon.
What's that?
I just said the Americans do not need to complain about fuel taxes, because you need to come to the UK and see how much we get taxed on it.
Exactly. No, that's why I'm not
we live in a
griping too
fuel
much.
bubble. We live in a gas bubble and have for decades. Our gas prices are artificially low compared to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
And we pay more here because there's more people here. In LA, there's millions and millions and millions of people here, so they're making money hand over fist from people on the West Coast. And Go ahead, Perp.
Yep. Just, most Americans don't get that we're balking at like $5 a gallon. And yeah, if you look at Europe or even Canada, they're paying like $1.50 a liter in Canada. But yeah, it's like you got to be, if we're paying by the gallon, that's what, 3.8 liters.
Yeah.
So, they're like closer to $6 a gallon even up there.
That's why I'm not griping too hard, because I know it's worse in other places. And that's another thing. Like in America, we take things like fuel for granted. Go to a country. I lived in Mexico, and it kind of taught me that we take a lot of things for granted. And I've been around the world, but in the first world, there's things like gas, like paved streets. So are taxes a grift? Is fuel a grift?
Well,
Get the conversation.
Okay, I mean that fuel's not really a grift, but I mean, I honestly think there's an element of fuel's a difficult one because I mean we should not be using fossil fuels. I mean, in all honesty, there should be a huge amount of tax benefits given to people to move to EVs, get away from the fossil fuels. Move in towards other things, because I mean, even if your power stations are fossil fuel powered, that's still more efficient than putting petroleum or gasoline, as you guys say in the US, into your tank than so it's more efficient. There's less polluting. It's easier to put CO2 traps on coal-fired powered stations and stop the CO2 getting back out into the atmosphere than it is to have decent EV controls in a car. So effectively we should be moving to EV vehicles. We should be moving towards more subsidies for people putting up solar panels and wind farms and stuff like that and getting away from it. But part of our problems is entirely a political one, and it's a problem with living in a democracy, and it's something it's a problem that only democracies have in this sense, in that political parties are elected for a term, and therefore they only think about what happens during a term, and solving the other problems we have are long-term issues. We're not talking 4 years, we're talking 20 years. And somebody who's in politics now doesn't give a shit what's happening in 20 years' time. They're probably not going to be in power. They're probably not even going to be in office. So why should they give a shit? They only give a shit about what can get them voted next time. And that's a problem with democracies. I'm not saying we shouldn't have democracies. I think we should. But I think we need to have a system which encourages governments to think about the long term rather than the short term.
Well, and
I'm not sure what the solution to that is.
It's even more insidious because when you think about it, like, at least in the United States, the reason why we haven't had more of a push for green energy sources and like a Green New Deal kind of thing is literally because the corporations, the polluting corporations, have bought our politicians. They are bought and paid for by these companies. So it's very much as long as I get mine, I don't care. I am only going to worry about making money. Who cares if I destroy the planet? That's a problem for 50, 100 years from now. Exactly. I'm going to die rich and fat and happy.
Yep. I have actually met people with that attitude. It's like, well, why do we need to save the whales? They're not important. I just turned them and said, yeah, but by the time they've died, we've done enough damage that it's going to hurt everyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the ecosystems that we destroy in creating these this next apocalypse of life on our planet, because we are heading towards mass extinction. Sorry, Doug. You were going to say, Doug? I stopped for you.
And I was just going to say that the demand for lithium is doing so much more to the environment, damage-wise, than oil is. It's similar to fracking.
And it is a big problem with the electric cars that people aren't looking at. Is the environmental impact of manufacturing the batteries and disposal of the batteries at the end of their life.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to ask Dog, have you got the stream going in the background?
No, Dog's phone is echoing and he doesn't have a earpiece, so it's a mute only.
There's towns in Africa, like in Gambia, and somewhere in Kenya.
On Microsoft Teams, you have a hand raising feature. Just saying.
Go on, Dog.
You know, on my screen it looks like dog's dog is having a wank.
It sounded like a squeaky hamster wheel to me.
Yeah.
Sounded like Debo from the movie
yeah,
Friday.
and just an aside, but like Stuhl was saying, this is something we all need to get on StreamYards about, that they need to add a raise hand feature so the moderators know who's waiting to talk. Every time you log off of StreamYards, you need to leave a comment for them that this is a desperately needed feature.
Raise hands.
You know, I was so pissed off today because Australia Jen sent me an invite to this stream, and that pissed me off because it took me. Yeah, listen, I just said it how it is, and it took me 20 minutes to find my sellotape, and you know how much that annoys me. Hunting around.
Yeah, but you.
Because you're a bellend that we all love.
I'm a lovely bellend. Hashtag lovely bellend.
But you know, you're not really complaining because my boobs are over your head. So.
That's a hashtag, yeah.
Boobs over your head.
But when I logged into StreamYards, they've changed it, haven't they?
I don't know.
Okay, Kitty, I just want to say...
Facebook!
Okay, Kitty, if you want your fundraiser to go through the roof, you just need to do a stream wearing a green sweater.
And that's
that looked cool.
That's another grift that we don't talk about is sexual vulnerability. Sexual vulnerability. We all know certain men have never seen boobs and they would pay money to see boobs. Is that a grift? Discuss. I'm kidding. Is Twitch becoming a grift?
Well, what you were just saying is basically the premise for OnlyFans, but...
Yeah,
yeah, but basically OnlyFans is a grift.
No,
Twitch.
I mean, I don't think so, because when it comes down to it, sex work is work. And
I agree.
Whether you're doing it in a brothel or online, do you, boo. Get your money. Like, if somebody will pay you money to take your clothes off and you consent to doing that, all the way to the bank. Have fun.
Okay, I have
I'm
to
not
say,
anti-boob.
OnlyFans is kind of on the line, because, you know, it's one thing if you go to a strip club that you know that the women are going to get naked and you're throwing money at them, okay. That's what you knew going in. That's where you're wasting your money. That's on you.
Yeah.
You know, if they're implying that they're going to show nudes and take the money from all the guys, but never take their clothes off, that's a grift.
Oh, they do that?
That's
Yeah,
fair.
if you're dishonest about what you're doing, that's a grift. But
Wow.
And I
if
would say most OnlyFans are pretty much, you get what you pay for. Like, you know, you know what you're getting going in, and they're not being misleading about it.
Yeah.
I think Perps was given a hypothetical.
Well,
If you're selling something for money and you don't get what you paid for, then
yeah, well, that's where I see the line as being, is that, you know, whether or not they fulfilled the promises they made before you gave them the money.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
what makes it a grift, is if they're promising something and then after they get the money, they don't do what they said they were going to do.
Which is exactly the point I wanted to bring up now. So where do we draw the line at what is a grift and what isn't? Because I mean, I think we've all agreed that there's certainly nothing wrong with doing a fundraiser. It doesn't necessarily make you a grifter doing a fundraiser. It doesn't. The fact that you might be e-begging occasionally doesn't make you a grift. Doesn't necessarily make you a grifter. The fact that you sell T-shirts or you make money from YouTube or people send you tips or whatever else because you're on Twitch or whatever else, you're not necessarily a grifter. At what point are you a grifter, though?
It's all in the delivery.
And tolerance.
No, I think
Honesty does not make you... Honesty makes you a non-grifter, as far as I'm concerned.
Honesty.
the moment you become dishonest,
Yeah, I mean, honesty would be number one for like the line, but also like not just doing something under false pretenses, but like also the pretense of if you are, riling people up, like you might be honest about what you're delivering, but if you're riling people up, if you're getting people like lizard brain, caveman angry, like just to have them throw money at you, like with outrage and whatnot, like that I think is grifty too.
So like Alex Jones.
or using religion.
A grift is a continuous thing. It's a way of life. Whereas a scam is a one-off thing. So if you're a grifter, it's something that you do continuously.
Yes.
Such as your Shapiro person. He's a grifter because that's what he does. Everything he says is a grift.
Yeah,
literally
or a lot of
everything he
grifters
says.
just move from one scam to the next as each one's uncovered.
And that's what makes you the grifter. So the scam is the doing it once, which is the
I think the
Ilya Moon of it. Whereas a grifter is somebody who will do the same thing over and over again, like some of the flat earthers do with. Oh, we're going to.
So would a preacher who is a constant failure going from city to city, would that be grifting? Like you set up a new church.
That would be grifting. Yeah. I think that a scam is something that you do, whereas a grifter is what you are.
Mm-hmm.
If you, the scam is the actual thing, but if you keep doing the scam continually,
so
then you're a grifter.
So a con artist or a scam artist is a grifter. Somebody who because they are technically somebody who continually does the long con.
I would say so, yeah.
Yeah.
I would say so, but I'm open to be corrected on this one because this is my favourite topic.
I honestly I think you can be that without being complete. I think there can be a level of being a grifter where you're not even aware that you're being a grifter. Like you are constantly doing these things, but you're not aware. You're not fully aware that what you're doing is dishonest or an actual grift in the sense that we've defined now. Because some of the preachers who preach prosperity gospel actually believe their own shit. They legitimately believe it. In which case, they're not lying.
They don't.
I think it also happens to some, like some of the YouTube channels that have built up slowly. That they didn't start out to be grifters, and they gradually found more and more revenue sources, and they don't realize that they've gone. Go ahead, Doug.
I was going to take you back a couple of 100 years ago to Joseph Smith. He was a scam artist. He divined farmers, saying, "I can find gold on your land," so he divined it. So he digged there and then disappeared forever. Then all of a sudden he met Jesus and he put Jesus in the direction of 1 billion gold plates.
Smith's scam was I can dig in your garden and find magic things.
And then he used his seer stones to tell people what it was all about, which were little rocks that he threw.
That's the scam. The scam is I can find magic things in your garden, but he continued to do that.
Yeah, but is that a scam or a grift?
I would say this is getting complicated.
It's a scam that he made his grift. Because he continued his scam until and made it his grift. He came up with this idea. He developed it, and then eventually he got to the point of, let's pretend about these magic plates and let's go down this whole road of creating a religion. That was where his scam became his grift, because he continually played the same scam. The plates were just the new element he added so that he could add the religion into it, which enabled him to have a permanent con going.
Where did the magic underpants come in?
When he got a sponsorship from Hanes.
Okay, so here's the thing. And I had said it earlier, about someone I knew of that they could afford the thing, but they were fundraising for it, and it was literally just because they didn't want to pay for it themselves, even though they could. It wasn't so much that it was a business thing; it was shiny new toy that they want, just and they didn't want to pay for it. But if you are running a channel and you want to try to make a little side hustle out of it, and you want to mark it off as a business expense, say I want this for my channel for my business, that's fine. It's just wanting new toys that you could afford, but trying to get other people to pay for it for you instead. So, I think there's a line there.
That probably becomes a grift when you're doing it all the time. If you just for example, I know that Mary fundraised to help pay for her new computer that she needed because her old one was dying and everything, and she fundraised for that. And that, I'm not sure that's a grift at that point. Yeah. She was fundraising, she was open and honest about it, and it's not something she's done over and over and over again on doing things. So I think there's an element of the grift comes if you go, hey, there's this brand new thing out, I want it for the channel, here's where you can donate money to help me. That's the grifter.
But she was honest, and she got the computer. Honest. Yeah, there's a difference. Like, I've seen fundraisers, and then the people disappear.
Yeah, no, if you're honest about it and you actually get the thing and then use the thing for what you said you were going to use it for, then it's not a grift.
Yeah. I'm still going to hold to...
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, I'm still going to hold to that. If the money was spent on what you said it would be spent on, that was up to the people who sent it to you. I mean, if I wanted some completely frivolous piece of computer equipment that had nothing to do with my channel, but I told people up front, this is what I'm going to buy with it, then isn't that really up to them whether or not they want to send me a gift?
Absolutely.
Yeah, as long as we are fully aware going into it, it comes down to, open communication and honesty about it and not just taking the money and running.
Honestly, I prefer to know what I'm giving money towards instead of just, hey, here's money.
Yeah.
Most of the time, depending on the situation. But
having said that, Jade's one of my Patreons, so she's awesome. I saw a dog actually.
That's why you're being
favoritism
nice.
here. See, I've got dog and Jade.
I have to say that Kitty. Yeah, well, I read their update yesterday on Patreon, and she says if she can't raise the money to buy the machine she wants, she'll buy the next level or the next level or whatever we've donated. And I find that as honest as anything. Well, that's honest.
Well, yeah, it's if I can't raise enough for the one that I've researched that I really have my eye on that's going to last me a while and is heavier duty, stronger than, what I currently have, then I will put whatever I get towards, the best machine I can afford. No matter what, the money's going to buy a new sewing machine. It just depends, whether I reach the goal or not, whether I get the one that I really want or whether I would settle for, something that's maybe not quite as good, but still an improvement. No matter what, I'm getting a new sewing machine. So...
I think that go ahead.
No, you need to say sorry now.
Go ahead, Sapphire.
Thank you, Steele. What you need to remember is everybody has different needs, and I don't mean in a sexy way. We're not going down that route.
Everybody's got needs.
Some people want, I don't know, a house. I just want food. So we've all got different needs. And as long as you're giving to somebody who's actually being honest and sincere, then,
that's fine.
That's okay. That's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
There are people, and I keep saying this, there are people, believe it or not, will not believe this because he's a dirty racist capitalist. But
thank you.
There are people in this world who can't afford the basic things in life. And so when one of those persons says to you, hey, you know what, I can't afford to eat this week, well, that's kind of serious.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You've got to take that a little bit serious as compared to somebody who says, hey, you know what, I'm 17 and I want a new computer because I'm into the YouTubes. There's a big difference.
Well, and even the people, who criticize me because they say if I give some money to a homeless guy on the street corner, he's going to spend it on booze. Honestly, if he's in that situation and he can scrape together enough to buy a bottle of booze that, numbs him for a couple of hours. Living in that situation, I can understand spending the money on that.
Absolutely.
Mm.
To be honest, sometimes I'd sooner give it to a homeless person or whatever to go and spend it on booze or get high or whatever than I would give it to one of these charities that are not honest about where they actually distribute their money anyway.
Like
Yeah,
the Goodwill.
and the more
Okay, that brings up a new topic, Jeff.
Oh man.
Because not all charities are honest about where they send their money. Not all of them are upfront
Yeah.
about what they're doing. Is there a point where some charities are just grifting and not actual charities?
Oh,
Yeah.
abso-fucking-lutely.
Well, and that's
Certainly.
more and more why I would rather just give the money to somebody standing on the street corner, because the more organized charities I study, the more of them I find out, how much of it winds up going to paying executive salaries, and it's only 10 or 15 cents on the dollar actually gets to the people they're supposed to be helping.
Even your local grocery store asking you for your change, they're ripping you off. Because they make millions and millions at the end of the year. They don't need your change.
Okay, give dog a shot.
This new Motorola is like a superpower. I can get through to people. Can I just say to Kitty, please, when you get your new machine, sew still a thong, but think Tic Tac when you sew it, not banana habit, Tic Tac.
Sorry, there's a lot of feedback. I couldn't quite catch that. I'm sorry.
You want to sew stool a thong.
Oh, yeah, I could totally do that.
Did you say
No.
a stool of thong?
So you a G-string.
Most
I will
definitely do not do
Banana
that.
mimic it. And I will put the fucking British flag right on the crotch area because I'm extra like that.
Most
You know-
definitely do not do that. There's a
OnlyFans
video
account
math
ever.
pig out there.
Can you hear Perp shouting? Perps
There's
is
not
my-
enough space.
Perps is my inner head. When I'm going to do something stupid, Perps tells me not to. So you're not going to see my stool of thong.
Although I think it could be the first ever OnlyFans account where people pay you to put the clothes back on.
I mean, I don't know. You haven't seen me
Grift.
naked.
Grift, that's Grift.
But Jen, I am
Yes,
sharing
it
something
is.
real quick.
I can't bring it up.
That's what she
Yeah.
said.
Well, I can put it in a small box for everyone to see, but I don't think they'll be able to read it.
That's also
So-
what she said. What is
yeah.
happening here?
Okay, so talking about charities, only 4% of Autism Speaks budget goes towards the actual family service, like helping families of people with autism. 22% goes to fundraising. 44% goes to research for a cure for autism because according to them, they're damaged and need to be fixed. 21% goes to awareness and advertising. 5% to administrative costs and salaries, 4% to other, and like I said, only 4% of the money from Autism Speaks actually goes to help autistic families of people with autism.
Oh, wow.
Okay, and since you brought up Autism Speaks, I have to point out that one of the treatments they endorse is shock therapy for children with autism.
That is
Yes.
horrid.
Yes. It is
It is-
gross.
That is not how anything works.
And they're
We would've
also
learned that from the 19th century that is not a treatment you do.
they're a multi
We're going to buy you some earplugs, dog, and send them to you.
I have
I'm using earplugs. To be fair, I am using earplugs.
Really?
But don't forget, people, there's praying the autism away. That's a new thing.
Okay, seriously, dog. If you can check some reviews and find out a headset that work with your phone, we'll make sure you get it. Seriously.
Yeah.
You know, because we want to have you in the chats. If that's going to be an issue, let's get you the equipment you need.
Yeah. So let us
And
know.
the next GoFundMe is for dogs.
You don't have to let us know in live chat. You can let us know in one of the groups, but let us know what kind of phone you have, and we'll find out what sort of earphones you need, and we'll sort it out, or tablet or whatever you've got. Because we want to have you in, and we don't want this.
This is Australia, Jenny.
I can chip in a couple bucks for that.
Yeah, this is begging. We're begging to help our ears. We love your dog. So we're heading up on the hour, and Perp's stream is in an hour. What's your stream about today, Perps?
Oh, you are kidding me. Oh, is Perps going to stream?
Perps is
you're going to like this one. It's World Kebab Day.
World Kebab Day. Oh, that's brilliant.
Oh my gosh. You know what? I would so love a kebab right now, but hey, guess what? Can't afford one.
Oh, fundraiser.
Honestly, like if anything happened to Michael, I would be in the same boat. I would be absolutely destitute. So, yeah, like that's a terrifying thought. And if you ever need anything, I'll do whatever I can to help.
Yeah. So let's go around and chill a bit. We already know what's happening with Perps. Is there anything else we need to know, Perps?
No, that's pretty much it. And just my usual streams next week, Wednesday at noon and Thursday at midnight, US Central.
Excellent. So I haven't put everyone's links in the descriptions because I was so enjoying this conversation, but I will add them later. But we'll still go around and say
it was a lovely conversation.
It was brilliant. This was a really good one. So I'm going to be busy at the end of this stream putting everyone's name in. So everyone who's been in here, their names will eventually be down below under the guest list in the description.
I bet you don't add my name to it.
I bet I do.
Bet you don't. Because I'm like, I make people's streams die.
No, you don't. This has been a really good stream, actually. I've really enjoyed this one. So why don't we go with you next? Or what have you got coming up? Aside from your penis.
Whoa. Oh, you went there.
You were thinking it. That's why you laughed.
No, it's like, I don't even know what time it is. It's too early for penis things.
I mean, Morningwood's a thing. Like, so is that really a valid statement?
Yeah, but since we've left the EU, I'm legally not allowed to have an erection.
It's 4:58 a.m.
I would be surprised if there is not a forest in England named Morningwood.
Oh,
I would be disappointed. I would be disappointed if there's not a forest in England named.
What on earth did I come back to? I go down to the lab for a minute. I come back to wondering about why there isn't a certain
I'm sorry.
named forest in the
It
UK.
was my fault. It was my fault.
I have absolutely nothing
Mea
planned,
culpa.
as per usual, so I have nothing to shill. But as always, I will shill the fine people who are on the screen right now. Watch these lovely people. They're awesome, they're lovely and beautiful and utterly brilliant, and I love all of them.
We love you too, still.
Except for Almost a Doctor, I think he's a dick.
Coming from the resident Bellend, that's rich.
Yeah.
Stool is the internet's angry uncle. It's okay.
You won't be crazier than some of
But
my
can
uncles.
I just say, you've been talking about shilling, and I've loved this, not shilling, grifting. And this has been a wonderful conversation, Australia, Jen. I've really enjoyed it. Because finally, for once, you're talking about something that is important rather than the bollocks that you usually talk about. And it was fun. I enjoyed it. So I'm just going to say, I have to say this legally. I'm legally obliged. Greg, thank you for being a patron.
Matt, what have you got coming out?
Well, maybe we're doing... Are we still planning on the stream tomorrow?
We are.
The chemical ones? Okay, good, because I've been looking up some nice, nasty chemicals for that.
Awesome. Me too.
Stay tuned for that, because if you want to hear about...
Critical Cripple Dave might be joining us for that. He, I was talking to him
fuck.
the other day, and Dave goes, "Oh, I
Well,
want
that's
to be
gonna
on that
go
one."
well.
So if he's around, he'll be on that one as well. So
Oh, are you finally doing a stream about how to dissolve a body?
we can cover that.
I can cover. Yep. I've got some chemical thoughts
We'll
on
do that.
how we could do that.
Although they might
The
take the
lawyers have
bath
just
out as well.
informed me that no one associated with the What the Fuck show would ever dissolve a body.
Ever, but if you do, get a pig.
No, I've never needed to do that.
You don't even need get a pig. You don't even
but-
need chemicals.
But I will say, Stool, if you do want to assist in a demonstration, we're not going to object.
This is why I hate football people. You're all weird.
I hate football too.
I don't look for football people either.
Yeah, I don't know if
just don't like
Stooley-
sport.
Well, there you go. Actually, they are. See, they are. You know, we talked about grifters or whatever. I didn't even get a chance to bring up FIFA.
No. They release the same game every year for same video game every year.
Same
That's a
video
grift.
That is definitely a grift.
Or Madden.
I mean the organisation as a whole, though. You know.
To be honest, some would argue that shilling at the end of a video is a bit of a grift as well, but hey. I never said I wasn't a hypocrite.
Honest. No, like the difference is the honesty. It's like
yes.
if you have an Amazon wish list for something, for your channel, then there's nothing wrong with that because literally you're not even getting money for the thing. The thing is being bought and sent to you, so you know that the money is going for that thing.
Yes. I agree. I was just making a joke at my own expense.
Yeah, I was thinking that might be the first of all the things that I would ever do, because I don't think my channel's big enough to warrant any of the other ones, but it would only be for smaller things. I've got most of the equipment, but I guess on that note, my next video is going to be on aliens.
Yes.
So-
Awesome.
Which reminds me, I've got a whole heap of things to send you, which I will organise
Yes, please.
this afternoon.
I
or
will.
tomorrow.
I'm going to start putting scripts, or at least kind of drafts for what's going to be in it tomorrow.
Should be fun.
So yeah, if anybody knows any good papers or articles on aliens in this solar system, feel free to send it to me, and I will always credit anyone who does give me a hand. And I've also got offers from Randolph Richardson to do some of the voice work if I need it, and he also volunteered Kitty as well. So.
Well, I volunteered myself. No, I
also
did
have
volunteer
volunteering
myself.
for me.
So.
Yes. So at this stage, I need to start putting pen to paper or fingers to keyboard. But once I do have a better idea, I'll be able to say exactly what it might involve. But I'm planning to make it a pretty big video. So this is going to take probably a while to put together. But when it does all get together, I'm hoping it'll be worth it. So
If Randolph doesn't do his George Takei impression, I'll be very upset.
does or doesn't? I missed that bit.
I'll be very upset if Randolph doesn't do his George Takei impression. He's the best at that one.
I mean, his Hank Hill is pretty spot on too.
That is funny too, yeah. That is very good. Sorry, I interrupted. Carry on shilling, you dirty grifters.
Jade, what have you got coming up?
I don't know. I don't have anything particularly planned on my channel. I'm doing some personal stuff, taking care of some mental health for the first time ever. So I'm going to focus on that. But I'm going to hop on streams if I'm available. I have 2 interviews that I did with the Harmonic Atheist and then another person on Facebook that are coming out soon. I'm just waiting on them to put those out. So once those come out, I'll share those too. But otherwise, I probably won't have a lot for a while.
Hey, you got to look out for you, and mental health is incredibly fucking important. And you're too lovely to not, just
Exactly.
if you need to.
And we're
Thank
always
you.
here for you. You know that, all of us.
Yes.
Thank you.
If you
Yes.
ever need somebody to vent to, like we can pretend like we're going out to do like painting with a twist, like a glass of wine and some artsy fartsy stuff. So like if you ever need someone to chat with, my DMs are always open.
That sounds amazing. I might take you up on that. I just went and talked to a psychiatrist today, so I'm finally getting things started. But I just need to focus on that. So
You have all the love and support that I can give. Honestly.
thank you so much.
Same
Thank
too.
you.
You know we're here for you.
Oh yes, I do, and I appreciate it so very much.
This community is great. Like,
It
honestly,
is.
even not just like how monetarily like they help people in the community out with things that they might need, but just literally like the human element to it. You know, it's if you're having a bad day, if you need someone to talk to, there are tons of people in this community that you could just pick, like throw darts at a dartboard, pick one, and they will literally give you an ear and support and comfort.
Australia, Jen, can we have a counter top left, please?
Oh, for what?
To count how many times Kitty says literally.
You literally need to shut the fuck up.
You literally
You're
are
literally
winding
a
me up.
bellend.
Stop
You
saying
call me
literally.
bellend.
So,
Literally
did anyone
stop.
give you permission to come out
I
of
could
the corner?
literally do that next show.
Literally.
Sorry, Jeff.
I was just wondering, who gave Stall permission to leave the corner? I don't remember anyone saying.
And whilst we're on you, Jeff, what have you got coming up?
I think very, very predictably, I'll be streaming the football on Sunday, and then I'll be done with that and back to regular content.
Oh,
So,
yay.
Yay!
Oh, yay. Let's celebrate this.
Okay, I do have to jump because now I've got a situation I need to deal with before starting my stream.
Spurs,
Well, we'll see y'all in an hour.
I mentioned football, Perps is out.
Everybody remember to hop over to Perps after this. Somebody will find the link and shove it in the description. I
love you,
It's on in about 50 minutes. So you got a bit of time to go and have a drink and a piddle and all the other stuff that you need to do in between. You know, freshen your makeup, whatever. Dog,
I literally just laughed a little bit on while on camera, and I am literally going to keep saying literally just to literally piss off.
So, Dog, have you got
and
anything
Austin
that's
got my
happening?
back.
Dog?
Should we explain to Will what the word literally means? He's looking perplexed.
That's me ignoring you.
Yeah, but still, you're a knob.
This is true.
And that's, that is syllable less than spell end. Well, I can hear that myself. I'm going to mute again. But our things are chill, by the way, Jen.
Yeah. All right.
I think he said he had nothing to show.
Nothing to show.
But like with that,
that was it. Yeah,
like,
it was hard to hear.
Oh, no.
Sorry, Dog. It was hard to hear. But we will be working on something to help you out so that we can have you on streams more often and you can partake of the conversation without us all getting echo and dying. Although I think we did amazing to get through that. So Ox put up the link to Purples. So people head on over there for Perps after this. I nearly skipped over us for. So Kitty, what do you got happening? You got a fundraiser.
Yeah, there's that. And
link in the description.
I did the first pajamas that I had made for my son, but they're really big, so I'm actually cutting out the pattern now to make smaller, and I'm hoping to actually I didn't want to film the first time I did it in case I fucked up, but I'm hoping to actually film like the actual making of the pajamas and what I did, so that other people might have a general idea of how to make them. Like, I had a lot of fun doing it. I even made a little like visor thing because he basically said that he wanted to be an imposter, like from the game Among Us. So that's what I did, and I took, and I don't know if this will show up. Well, because of the green screen, he was in front of my green screen background. So actually, that's pretty good. I literally put a little thing on top of it to make it look like an imposter.
Oh, it literally looks like an imposter.
Stop saying literally, you dick.
So he's super stoked with it, but they are super huge on him because this is on my dress form.
Oh, wow.
So they're very baggy. Like, he'll grow into them. Like, that's the wonderful thing about kids is they get bigger. I mean, it's also heartbreaking as a mother because, you know, you only get so much time with them as little ones. But he will grow into them eventually. And I picked up this. I let him pick what color he wanted for the next one, and he wanted pink. So he's going to be a pink crewmate or imposter. And I'm going to have extra of this fabric because he said he wanted to be able to put a brain on top because, like, in the game you can put little hats on, and so I'm going to put a little Velcro and make like a little plushy brain that he can put on top, and I'll make like plushies and other things so he can just change them out, like, and it'd just be a fun, cute little thing. So like I have to figure out like how I'm going to do the brain, but we'll see. I might have to do hand stitching, and I'm not looking forward to that because I hate hand stitching. But yeah, so I'm going to try to make videos of some of my upcoming sewing projects, and then I'm going to come begging to you to help me edit them because I've never edited a video in my life. Actually, that's not true. That's actually not true. I did do a almost hour-long video of how to sew a mask showing all the steps, and I filmed it on my iPhone and just used iMovie to basically chunk the bits together. So it was really rough and crude, but I did actually literally, for you, Stool,
Jesus.
You know that we're
video.
here to help, Kitty, when it comes to doing
Yeah, I know, and I will be tapping you guys because I'm a noob at editing videos.
If it was an hour long, you are literally shit at editing.
Well, no, it was literally a step by step. So showing every aspect of it and giving demonstration and commentary on how to do the thing from start to finish. Like, I could have condensed it down, but I wanted all of the steps to be video.
When you say condense it down, do you mean editing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you literally just described editing there.
Right. But I. Oh, sorry, Doc.
I was just going to say, I've sat through Stuhl's videos with him and Peter. Gonna go for it, and yeah, nothing happened. Wow, I can hear that whistle myself. I'm gonna mute again. But yeah, fuck you, Stuhl. I love you, man, but yeah, you're full of shit.
I've never denied
literally.
this.
Okay.
I'm gonna say literally every stream now.
Literally. Yeah.
But the difference is, you see, I do my things live, literally. So I can't edit what I'm doing.
We are so having a
I'm literally doing it on the fly.
So, well, what have you got coming up?
I love you, Matt.
Also,
mouse and wheel.
Well, I was thinking a hamster hasn't got a tail. I can do a mouse.
That still reminds me of Debo from Friday, from the movie Friday. If you've never seen it, you should go watch it.
It reminds me of a song my son has been listening to lately. It's called Hammyzilla, and it basically says in the year 2048 the Earth ran out of energy. So basically they took all the hamsters and put them on an island and put them on hamster wheels, and then there was an accident, and then Hammyzilla sprung from it, which is like a Godzilla hamster. My son's been listening to it nonstop for days. And there's a YouTube video for it too. There's a music video for the song.
Now I'm going to be looking for that. So what have you got happening, Will?
Alright, I am Godless Sewing of the Godless Sewing channel, and that means I am literally Godless Sewing from the Godless Sewing channel. Every Wednesday, Maddie from Science Side Up, Sam Chaos, and myself have a podcast on Sam Chaos's channel literally called Pub Religion. So you should literally go down there every Wednesday at 3:30, literally West Coast time. And every Thursday we pick a topic and we have a shit show about it. So we either have a sewing circle or a what the fuck show. Come down there, literally be there or be square. And if you mess with me, I will literally fight you. I love you all. That's a lie. I love some of you. The rest of you I tolerate. Literally the Godless Sewing channel.
All right.
I'm literally from California.
Tomorrow night, Australia time, which will be morning for the peeps in the US and midday-ish for the guys in the UK. Matt and myself and probably Dave, as in Critical Cripple Dave, will be talking about things that go boom or milty or basically or stink a lot. Basically chemicals that you probably want to stay a long way away from.
Azide or azide. That was the one we were talking about.
That was the one we were talking about the other day. The chemical
that one will come up.
Yep.
Ox found it. He literally linked the video for Hamizilla. That's from Harry Grip.
There it is.
Like, Ox is fucking amazing. Literally, Ox, I fucking love you. You are awesome. You are always on point. And it's amazing. Literally.
Like, literally.
Later on today, I will be... No, it's not on my channel. I will shut up about that. It's on Ed's channel. But I will be on Six Pack tonight. If people want to catch me over there, I'll be over on Atheist Bastard channel doing a Six Pack. Next week, we'll be having another What the Fuck show. And I'm assuming sometime during the week, we will be doing a sewing circle.
I want to get back to Sci-Fi Saturday.
Sci-Fi Saturday sounds fun.
Yeah, because this is great and all, but
we got to talk sci-fi. We got to get our sci-fi on.
As a resident, no one cares about sports, so
yeah, sci-fi. We're gonna sci-fi the shit out of this. We're gonna sci-fi the shit out of this. So I'm assuming that will be a happening thing at some point. Aside from that, there'll probably be the odd stream now and then during the week where we have a bit of fun and just sit down and chat, depending on how Will, Kitty, or myself feel, because we've started doing that. Hey, let's stream. And just keep an eye on the chats of my Twitter and everything. As I said, links for everybody will be down below in the description. Links to my Patreon's down there. Just got to get another grift in there. And... thank you, everyone. You've been all absolutely amazing. The chat has been awesome. I love the fact that I can now pop people's chats up on the stream. Like, StreamYard's literally too straight from the beginning, but I like having my fancy OBS stuff. Everybody who joined in the chat here, to Stool, to Matt, to Jade, to Jeff, to Dog, to Brandon, who's gone, to Perps, who's gone. You guys are all fucking amazing. We wouldn't have had this brilliant discussion without you. Catch these guys all over on Purples in, 40 minutes?
And, literally, don't choke on the selfie stick.
Oh, you
literally.
Bye, everybody. Love you.